And I'm tired of giving guys passes. Oh, John Johnson III? Let me talk to you, JJ3. JJ? I'm tired of people giving cats nicknames. No, Tyvis, he's not JJ anything. We giving him his government name, Jonathan. Jonathan is what we're going to freaking call him. I'm tired of your nicknames. Genu, JJ. Man, you don't get no nicknames. It's one nickname. It's called Primetime. Primetime, Deion Sanders get. You got it. Revis Island. They get that done. But I'm tired of giving these dudes nicknames because I seen you loafing on the goal line and you wouldn't even have him down with 2-hand tap below the waist. I'm tired of it. I'm done with it, bro. And you the same dude getting on top of picnic tables and cafeteria tables. Talk about what we gonna do and how, bro. You just got here, fam. You just got here 2 seconds ago. Don't act like you out here talking for everybody. And you can't tackle nobody on the goal line. Give me a break. Y'all take it from here. I'm done talking about it. I'm done. Get rid of somebody. I'm tuning out. Don't pay me to do this no more. Tune me out. I don't want to watch it. I'd rather go play video games. I don't care. I don't want to see this no more. Y'all tell me why they ain't doing good, and I'll listen to y'all.
That was a good rant.
That was a classic.
Bro, you sure you don't want to get paid anymore to do this?
I was on my bag yesterday.
Or was that heat of the moment?
That was heat of the moment.
All right.
Like, keep them checks coming. I was just listening. That was on me.
I heard that. I was
that
like,
was
you
on
tripping.
me. It was accident.
See, here's the good news. You could be just a regular Joe Six-Pack fan who has to watch this garbage and not get paid.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
Well, they don't have to watch it, though.
Yeah.
We do.
No, that's true. You can check out if you want.
Yeah.
And I think people are jumping off that shit.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, I'm only here so I don't get fined.
But Jay, it's hard to check out, right? It's hard to check out on this, right? Because when you've been raised here.
No, listen, it's in your. You can't check out.
You can't check out.
G. Bush, I've said that exact line.
You can't.
1,000 times.
It hurts.
And something hit me over the weekend when I was watching the most fair-weathered, entitled fans in sports chant at Yankee Stadium during Game 3, sell the team.
Wow.
They got 27 championships. How many sell the team chants have they ever had at First Energy?
None.
Yankee fans? Browns fans.
They can run across the town.
I do think
They go to Giant Stadium if they want to.
We could argue Browns fans should be tougher on ownership, though.
Well, they should be chanting sell the team.
Browns fans should be chanting sell the team.
27 championships, and that team hasn't won one in 22 years now, and they're yelling chant the team or sell the team.
Jay, let me tell you. So you know my daughter Cheyenne goes to the University of Maryland.
Right.
She's in the heart of Maryland yesterday, right? She called me after the game. She said she was irate. They some suckers, Dad. They got me up here looking like a sucker up here with these Maryland folks, right? And I like, she was hot. She was like, the ineptitude. She was like, we can't do just the basics. And every day is something different.
Is Mike Prefer still employed by the Browns?
He shouldn't be.
I expected to hear by now that he was not.
We won't. By the way, it's still weird if you think about it that they like. It's hard to point to something like Lamar Jackson didn't do much. Mark Andrews had the worst game of his career.
He never goes.
The Browns were running
They're
effectively.
mediocre. Guys, Baltimore's
I
a
don't know
mediocre
how the
football
Browns
team.
lost this game.
Like,
it's so weird.
They played well enough to win.
As much as I'm down on Jacoby Brissett because he never comes through the big
bad.
spot, he was very efficient.
Played well.
Listen,
I don't
they had
understand
the
how they
game
lost.
won. They had the game won.
Well-
Amari Cooper catches the ball in the end zone. It's a touchdown. They're up 27-23.
The pass interference was. I'm not a big complainer about officials. I thought the offensive pass interference was a bad call.
It was the same hand jostling on most plays down the sideline.
And I still don't.
And to call it in that spot.
And I still don't see the false start on the field goal.
I don't either.
that
I
is
mean,
crazy.
So there's so much confusion over there.
Here's the problem. The Browns had.
did anybody move? Did anybody see anybody move?
Jordan Elliott's foot moved.
Yeah.
Jordan Elliott moved his back foot.
After the
his
guy-
right
after the
foot.
guy encroached on
But
the
this
line.
is what's weird.
But
So
wasn't that after Baltimore had moved?
It was after.
They said they slightly moved the ball.
And Harbaugh said that Charlie jostled the ball. I showed it to a couple people with the Browns. They're like, listen, this is just common. Like
That happens on every play.
Right. The center sticks his head. And plus, remember, Charlie Hewlett's like perfect on the snaps. He did have a bad snap right before that, probably in his head a little bit. He wants to make sure this
He
one's
clearly snapped his head down to get an eyesight.
But the center had this.
What you can't do is snap your head up.
And Harbaugh said it was a penalty. Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah.
The Browns said it wasn't. Of course they're going to say that. And it winds up being.
What's the referee they have on during the game? He said he had the right to move his head and look down.
Yeah,
so
Bull, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I normally don't complain about the calls because
I almost never.
There's 80 other plays and
Right,
they make
right,
up for it.
right.
But these were the pass interference to me was extremely egregious. But all that being said, this team didn't deserve to win.
Well, here's the thing. They just can't overcome adversity.
They can't.
Like, it doesn't matter. I can give you micro, I can give you
They
macro.
implode.
The micro is Jedrick Wills has a false start.
Yeah.
They're 2nd and 15. They got to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, this team is not built for 1st and 15, 2nd and 3rd and 12. Like, they just can't overcome that. And then Wills has the holding penalty, and it kills the drive. And people can scream, well, it wasn't a hold. Okay, whatever. It was called. You have to be able to overcome
that was a hold.
It looked like I would
That's
have
a
called.
hold.
Yeah, I
I
was
didn't
fine
see
with
the
that
replay.
call.
I didn't see the replay.
The replay was pretty
That was a
egregious.
fine call.
So
I agree
I was
with you.
fine with that.
you
You guys
call.
want to see the reverse angle of the false start, by the way? Which
you have
may
it-
yeah, we can take it.
If you have it and it's definitive, if it's going to tell us something.
Hit play, Anthony.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that was that.
But had the Ravens
I had not seen
already
that.
moved? Let me see that. Let me watch the Ravens here.
I didn't see a Raven movement before the foot move,
Oh, that foot right there.
and then
It's hard to tell. There's a guy all the way next
No,
to.
no. You
Well-
can look to the left side here.
Bryant moves once
foot.
the foot moves. Was that Wills?
No, Wills.
No,
on the
I
right
think it was
side.
Jordan.
No, but there's a
Elliott.
player on the
It's
Ravens
foot.
on the right side of the screen who moves around the same
Michael
time.
Dunn got flagged for it, and he didn't move. Like, Dunn didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he gets flagged for it.
Here's the problem.
I can't believe we tweet. This Roberto Shenanigans is a real D-bag. I can't believe we're using his tweet.
by the way, he had another one with John Johnson.
He's
and-
got the good video, though.
and he
Let's
got
get
2
rid of him, though.
videos.
He's a real D-bag.
He's not. Well, I give you credit where credit is due. Thank you for the shots.
No, I mean I hadn't seen that angle.
Yeah,
And there's clearly movement
here's
there.
the
Whether
game.
or not it was before the Ravens
Here's
moved,
the
we
game,
don't know.
G. The Browns have very little margin for error. I mean, it's like this much to get a sheet of paper in there. Because these games, they're not losing by much, but one thing. You talk about one play can throw a game off, right? It's always them. It's one play. It's the offsides here. It's the non-tackle here. It's the interception and these one things are sinking the Browns week in and week. They have no margin for. Why they have no margin for error? Because they don't have enough skilled people to cover up for a minus a guy or two, right? And then you have a guy, again, I'm going to keep harping on it. So Chubb runs about, 18, 19 times?
No,
How many times he run?
16 for 91.
I mean, he's the only thing working that you consistently go to. And you can't tell me he gets stopped bull after 3 yards.
Yeah, you know,
that.
I
Keep-
was
keep
screaming and
pounding
yelling
it.
on the postgame about not running enough. And then the analytics guy, Cleve TA, who I respect, it was like, if he's giving me all these analytics about why it made sense to. But
Analytics.
the reality is, if they didn't call the offensive pass interference on Amari Cooper, none of us would have been talking about play calling today.
That's what I'm saying.
That
Like,
is true.
They hit
You're
the
right.
deep
Now that
shots.
I've had a chance to kind of watch
because
it over and
winning
reset.
hides wards.
Right.
They're still there. You're just putting makeup on.
Sure, but they're
with
on
the
every
W.
team.
But
and
again, we're going down to the last one play here.
After
the
the
margin
first
for
That's every
error.
game. It's
That's
every game in the
The
NFL.
margin for error on this team is limited.
But it's not just this team. It's 25 teams in the
I'm
league.
only concerned
Anybody
about
here,
this team.
after
Right?
the
I
first
got to watch
drive,
this team.
What we saw with Chubb, if you could have predicted that for the game he was going to have 16 touches, you would have wondered, oh, he must have got hurt. They were completely effective. And
He
you
should have
said
had the
something
ball
in the
more.
chat yesterday that I want to ask you about, because I've agreed with this all year. Why is Stefanski putting up points in his first 2 drives and then the well runs dry?
By the way, he went for it on 4th down the first drive, and it led to 7 points.
And I didn't like it.
And
I didn't like
and
it.
in my opinion, it was the right move. He didn't leave points on the table because he got 7 instead of 3.
But he
Right,
also kicked on a 4th down that
Thank
was
you.
a toss-up.
Yes.
And he took the field goal.
Yes.
It was a toss-up. I'm trying to think. I think that made it 10. They gave him 10 points.
Yes.
That was a 4th and
3. I think it was 3. Because
It
I
was
went,
4th and 3.
I
It was
went,
4th and 2, and he
No.
kicked the field goal.
And I
Yeah,
went-
I thought it was
To go-
4th and
to go
3.
10-3.
Look at that graphic. The Browns are 0-5 when Nick Chubb doesn't get the ball 20 carries.
It's stunning
So
to me.
I'm gonna give you.
But
Which also means they're
Jay, you're
2-0.
an analytics team. Don't you know that analytic?
let me get them together real quick. See, here's the problem.
Analytics killed our game.
You talking about what the earnings per share and this, that, and the third, and all that good stuff. I'm gonna just get down to the brass tacks. If you looking at all of that instead of understanding what the game is, you don't deserve to be in the league. The analysts should be working at Enron or something. Go work at Disney.
Who talk to the people? Who does analytics? What type of people?
Well, they all do now.
No.
Everybody does
analytics. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about something different. People who do analytics, let me tell you, if you're a player, the people who do analytics can't play dead at a funeral. Because they can't see it.
They don't
Complaining about analytics, guys, makes no sense. Every team
Yes, it
does it in the
does.
league.
No, hold on.
If I gotta watch that
And
sheet every game,
every week
I'm
I
sick
watch
of it.
teams lose games because of it. Every week.
It's stupid.
So
Last night, Miami.
Analytics is just
yesterday
stats.
against
They're
the
just-
Steelers, Miami leaves 3 points on the field late in the game. They were up 6. They have a
But you
kid-
wanted the Browns to leave 4 points on the field in their
Hold
first
on.
drive yesterday.
They had. I did.
You wanted them to leave
I
points
wanted
on the
them
field.
to take the points in
No,
that
you wanted them to
situation.
leave points because they ended up scoring 7.
Yes. Or if you kick a field goal, you take points.
Fantasy
For
basketball.
sure.
we get.
Well, what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
yesterday during the Steelers game,
Yeah.
Miami leaves 3 on the field. They had 2 late drives. Now Pickett threw 2 interceptions.
But Jay, I could go through every game and tell you all the times they got it on 4th down and scored a touchdown.
I know
You're not paying attention to
you
those.
can, but, here's what drives me nuts, and I know that this drives everybody nuts. When you rely on analytics, you take what you're seeing with your eyeballs
away
out of the equation.
I don't think there's any coaches.
There was no question what was working for the Browns. There was no question.
I don't think there's any coaches that are just using the numbers and nothing else.
It looks
Well,
like
hold on.
like we're using just the numbers.
No, I don't believe that.
Because your gut tells you that Chubb should have more than 16.
I agree with that.
Here's your problem when you talk about the analytics things.
Every team uses it. So what's the point of arguing?
No, here's what I'm saying. I'm going to say what's the difference.
Yeah.
Don't make it right.
The difference between what they doing and what you doing is you
Yeah.
looking at them and they got the different ingredients than you got. So if you trying to go off, well, everybody in the league is doing this. Everybody in the league.
But the
don't
Browns
got
are
to-
not doing it that way.
Everybody. Well, listen. I'm gonna ask you this question: if it's 16 carries, why does he only have 16 carries?
What do you mean if it's 16 carries? I don't understand.
Nick Chubb, your best player, has 16 carries.
I
Why?
agree he should have had more.
Okay,
but
so-
I don't think you just say, well, analytics told him only to run 16 times.
He's saying
I'm
why do you
I'm
think
saying
so?
why. What
Why
is
do you
the
think so?
what? Why
We
do you
use analytics wrong. Analytics are just stats.
That's my point, too.
No. I'm saying we, as broadcasting, analytics are
No,
bad.
I'm saying-
they're stats that are better than the old stats. That's all they are.
No. What I'm saying is when you use statistics
Yeah.
to guide your judgment and what you should be doing, in terms of play calling, you fall into a scenario where instead of using your mind and your head, I'll give you a perfect example. The analytics say you should throw the ball a lot. The analytics say that you should throw the ball.
But gee, no, they're different for every team.
But hold on.
Kevin Stefanski's not using the same set of numbers that the Bengals
We
are
don't
using.
know, we don't know what the hell
What
he
I'm
is.
telling you
Well,
is,
neither do you.
No, I know it ain't working.
Jason brings up the stat all the time.
Yeah.
He says when it comes to whether you should run or pass,
Right.
when you are passing a certain amount of times versus running, those teams are more successful.
That's true.
Now, I'll give you a counter example used against the Browns. When the Browns went into Atlanta and they had their quarterback, Marcus Mariota, they realized that Marcus Mariota was no threat. So you know what they did? Analytics tells you otherwise. You would never run the ball 11 straight times or 12. Analytics, every call sheet, no football analyst would tell you to run the ball. Actually, they would tell you to counter. You should never do that. But guess what the coach did? He realized the defensive line was trash. They couldn't stop him.
Because he trusted what?
He trusted what he
So
saw.
but gee, all you're doing is assuming every right decision they make is no analytics used, and every wrong decision they make is analytics based. There's no way to back that up.
Well, you know what I like to see?
No,
This
the
is what I-
example he gave shows specifically the point he's making. The numbers, we know what the NFL is. It's a passing league.
But not every team, Jay, is using the same set of numbers.
I know they're not, but
Yes, you keep saying you know you're not, but you're all saying that that's what they're
Here's
doing.
what coaching is. If you're going to have an analytics background.
Analytics
and
is
it's all
stats.
driven
Let's stop
by
getting uptight
calculator.
about the word. It's
Yes,
just statistics.
But here, it's the use of stats.
Correct.
So here's the problem.
Yeah.
And G makes a great point. What Atlanta did in the course of the game was They made adjustments. And they said, you know what? All of the numbers told us that this is how to win.
Yeah.
But my eyes tell me they can't stop this.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep doing that.
Okay, you guys have no idea whether they're using analytics to determine that
Well,
or
no.
not.
Well,
And
we
neither
do.
do I. But you're just assuming that every time they make a change, they've ignored the analytics at that point. You don't know that.
Well, when I sit
There's no way to back that up.
when I sit here and hear,
I don't know what they say. I don't know what they're looking at. I have no idea
when
what
I sit here
statistics they're
and,
watching
and
the
you
game.
say analytics are stats, right? Stats are used for one thing, right? They're used for people who do radio and TV to talk about. Stats are to show me if I'm on the other side of it, I'm on a team. It's to show me tendencies, right? That's all it is. It shows me tendencies. That's what the tendencies leading into the game are. But when I get on the ground floor and I see something, then I have to adjust to what I see. I don't adjust to the call sheet. I don't adjust to this. I'll give you a prime example. Last night, the Cavaliers going in overtime. Donovan Mitchell down the stretch was 0 for 8, right?
Terrible.
In overtime. Struggling. So analytics would tell me, go away from him because he cold as ice.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No,
yes,
it wouldn't.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. What did they do? Proper
Doesn't make
things
any
do.
sense.
Put the ball back in his hand. I'm gonna get something good out of it, probably. Right?
Yeah, I agree with
Damn
Bull.
the
I
stats.
agree
That
with
doesn't
Bull,
make
though,
sense.
on,
Yeah.
on this point
No.
because the numbers tell you he's your superstar, he's your
Yeah.
playmaker, and for every miss he makes, he's more likely through stats to make the next one.
Right. You can't
not
just
miss the
every
next
time
one.
it goes
because
wrong.
there's going to be a regression.
Say,
to the
oh,
mean.
it's analytics getting it
Let
wrong.
me tell you
That doesn't
something.
make
Let
any
me tell you
sense.
something. When you got a guy here that could easily go for $150 and you run him 16 times a game, and I'm watching it every freaking Sunday.
Now that I'm in full
Then I'm
agreement with you.
freaking pissed after watching every Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Anthony,
he does have the second most carries in the league.
Anthony, do you have the graphic?
Don't
Why
bring
doesn't
up
he have the
facts.
most?
Anthony,
What's
do
that?
you have
Don't
that
bring up
graphic?
facts to this.
No,
Here,
no,
this is-
hold on.
hold on.
I would have liked them to run more this week too, but it's silly to say they didn't run them more because of analytics. That doesn't make any
This
sense.
is what I went to at halftime. Show them that picture. This is what I went to at halftime. I walked out at halftime. This is what I did.
You went and did yard work, didn't you? Didn't even take a picture.
That's what I'm doing.
I don't blame
I
you.
got it on the radio, but I'm like, I'm
Jason,
not watching this.
I-
Now they sucked. Hold on, they sucked me back in the fourth quarter when they were making the drive. I said, hold
Guys,
on.
I think we're
can
getting
go
bogged
watch it.
down in a silly conversation.
Analytics did not cost them this game
I know, it's
yesterday.
just-
I don't know why we're having
No,
this
it's not in the
17-minute
game,
rant.
Jay. But like every time we tell the story of Chubb and his carries, you guys
Yeah.
say he's the second in the league.
Yeah.
Is he the best running back in the league?
Yeah.
Then why the hell isn't he leading the
Well,
league in carries?
Saquon Barkley's right there with him.
Okay,
I mean.
but now there's a bigger gap between
So,
Saquon
but
and
you
Chubb.
can't say he doesn't run when his
No.
running back has the second most carries. in the
Here's
league.
I think
it's
what
not
we're
like
all
he's
saying. Go.
well.
He's
Here's,
at the
I
third
think-
most now for the record. Third most.
Okay, third.
But here's I think what we're all saying.
Yeah.
We know one thing about this Browns team that works.
That
we know
works.
one thing, and that's all I know after 7 games. I just know one thing. I know that Nick Chubb running the ball moves the sticks. We all know that. So the question is, do you want to put him on a carry count so he
No.
lasts 9 years?
No, I don't. Again, my point is just that. My point, I think it's stupid. I don't want to argue
You
anymore
know
after
they're
this.
using. You know that his
My
16
point is,
carries are
I
analytics
wanted
based.
him to have more carries. The point is, we can't blame analytics every time it goes wrong.
Well,
That's just silly,
here's what
and
we
there's
do.
no facts
Hold
to
on,
back
hold
that
on.
up.
Especially when they had the game won yesterday.
Here's
They
what-
had the game won, and nobody's talking
Oh,
about it.
okay.
Let's talk about the
no,
people.
no, no, no.
When they have
Let's talk about the
Five-
people.
They have
What they have
four of
to
their
do.
players are not
Amari
doing a good
Cooper
enough
catches
job.
the ball in the end zone, and they're ahead. They have the game
So
won.
let's get to
four
this.
of those games
Yeah.
won.
They have
So,
a saying
so
about
let's
that,
get
like
to
this.
this. I like what you say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead and finish because I want to shift from. I'm actually going to throw red meat into the cage for
Are
you
you?
for you Lions.
What?
I'm going to give you what you're looking for.
Give me some.
Give us something else. So,
Nick Chubb went 18 minutes without carrying the football.
yeah, that was
Yeah, I know.
ridiculous.
I mean, we all saw it.
And that, from the 10-minute mark in the second quarter to the 7-minute mark in the third quarter.
Right.
That can't happen. I agree with that. But you also have to look at the why that's in there.
What's the why?
And people want to scream about they threw it 3 times on the first drive of the second half. I
Hated
agree.
it.
But you have to look at the why.
Okay.
So he gets sacked on first down. Now you're 2nd and 15. You can't run Nick Chubb on 2nd and 15.
No, but that's why you
can't.
don't throw on first.
That's why
Okay,
you don't
so,
get
so
sacked.
you have to run the ball on every first down.
No.
No, you don't have to. But
Well, that's what you're saying.
But
If my man is hot, yeah.
But it's the first snap of the second half.
Don't matter.
what did they do the first snap of the game?
Handed the ball to Nick Chubb.
How
And I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Like, I'm fine with that. I'm just saying.
That's the only thing I know that works.
I don't think it's logical. I bet you The second down call was probably give it to Nick, but when Jacoby takes a sack on first down,
I agree.
and it's now second
No,
and
I
15,
agree 100%
you have to
on
crumple
that.
that one.
Some of
up
those
and
sacks
throw it
he took, by the way, were on him.
They were.
He held the ball
but
too
I'll
long.
tell you this. Jacoby played really well yesterday.
He did.
I've been as hard on
I
Jacoby
was
as
funny. I was
anyone.
killing him
He played
yesterday, and then I went back and watched the game,
actually
and I
played
felt,
well.
He
felt
played
different
well.
about it.
He
played well.
avoided the horrible mistake at the end of the game, which is
Almost.
what killed this team all year. He had the strip early in the second half. He had the ball knocked out of his hands. Listen, it happens, man.
It wasn't bad.
It happens.
Jay,
he avoided the horrible turnover. He took them down the field. He got them in the end zone. It's a questionable call. It goes against them, and that's why I opened the show with. They can't overcome adversity right now.
Right.
And part of it is the quarterback in general.
Yes.
It's just the play. When you have a below-average quarterback in the NFL, you're going to have a harder time doing some of the stuff that we're talking about.
We've taken to saying that Jacoby has played great, and there's always a but.
No great.
Well,
I don't know. Great.
He played really well
If you look
yesterday.
at the numbers, you're like, wow, 22, 27, 258.
Yeah, but
no
seven
picks, no
touchdowns, 7 turnovers in 7 games.
And here's my point is, and I think I said this in the chat yesterday, Jacoby has been great, not good, great all year, except when we've needed him
Except
to be
when you
great.
need him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he's been way below average.
And that's what separates the truly
That is
great
exactly
quarterback.
what
That is the
separates
margin
them.
of
Yes.
error right there, buddy.
The reality is, guys.
Stay right there.
The reality is that as bad as the defense has been for the most part, and they weren't that bad yesterday. The defense did all right yesterday.
They got the turnover. They got the stop.
But as bad as the defense has been overall,
Just look at those numbers.
right, that's horrible. As bad as the defense has been overall, if Deshaun Watson were on this team and was playing as we think he will, right? We thought Russell Wilson would be great this year. Now, Russell Wilson's a lot older than Deshaun Watson,
Correct.
but he's been terrible. But if Deshaun Watson had been on this team these first 7 games and had played as most of us expected him to, the Browns are probably at least 5-2 right now.
I think they're 6-1.
So stay right there. I
Yeah.
like what y'all said. Y'all said
and that's the point I've
and
been
that would
making all
cover
year.
up all these
He's
other
play-
things that we
he-
complain about.
That's the point I've been making all year.
He
Go ahead.
plays great, right?
Right.
Until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That shows you the
I
difference.
don't agree about great. I don't agree with Jay, but I don't want to parse.
Well,
make a
okay.
big deal about words.
Listen, it's the
He
parts
plays
of the
good,
world.
solid football.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he plays great or good or
Yeah.
everything to the fourth quarter and he plays bad, the difference between the good quarterbacks and bad quarterbacks or average ones is what? The fact that they can do it in the fourth quarter.
We saw that with Baker for
All right,
years
so
too.
hold on. Here we go.
Yeah.
So let me pose the question.
Yeah.
Now we've set that up. Kevin Stefanski is great calling plays for 3 quarters. But in the fourth quarter, he does blunders. He don't run the ball when he's supposed to. He get cute. His teams, you're throwing the ball on the goal line. He's the exact definition of what you said about Jacoby Brissett. He just asked me, I didn't get a chance to answer. He said, why is he so good in the first few snaps and first few series? Well, that's already predetermined. They've been running them plays all week. But when you get to the fourth quarter, it bogs down a little bit.
The script is out.
You know, I know what you're doing. You know what I'm doing.
Right.
Now it comes down to who's better. Am I able to outcoach that guy? Am I able to think about what I'm going to do to him? And at every single turn, he got outcoached by that dude. He got outcoached by Saleh. He got outcoached by Belichick. He got outcoached. He's just getting outcoached.
Because they playing with these.
They doing this.
They doing with these.
Austin
right here.
Eckler. Austin Eckler. No, you got Justin Herbert. You would think they throw it 500 times. You know what the coach said? Not against them, Jay. Austin Eckler, let's get you 200 bills on the ground. And you're like, he changed up like that? Yes, because when it comes to the fourth quarter and when it comes to good, great, average, it's what you do when the game is on the line and he don't even have a signature win. Tell me one signature win Kevin Stefanski has played and won against any good team.
Cincinnati last year.
Cincinnati one time. And he wasn't even coaching during the Pittsburgh Steelers game. He was at home with us.
And actually, the Cincinnati game, the Browns kicked their ass that game, so it wasn't in the balance late in the game. It wasn't like they had to pull it out to win it.
He gets credit for the win.
But yes, he gets credit. That was a good win.
So for
You
me,
can't kill him when he does.
So for me,
No.
Sure he can.
No, it's not.
Everybody puts heads on stake.
You
Every
can't
time
kill
they
him when he
lose,
does
it's the
poorly.
coach's
You
fault.
also have to give him credit when he does well.
Yes,
Sports. What are you talking about? What is he talking